Right, this is the sixth and final question. I'm sure you'll be glad to hear of these sine rule videos, and then I'll probably post an exercise of some sort via some sort of channel, either on here or somewhere else, with some questions on which you can practice, and then we can sort through anything that we can't do. So this is number 6. It's a little bit different, this one, but let's just see how you get on. Oh, just ignore that. So number 6. Last one again, still trying to find x. Ruler, pencil, get this drawn. Remember not to scale. Try and be neat. There we go. So A, B, and C is what you're given. This one's 103 degrees. This is 15.7. And it's just worth making a note of this. Just let me neaten that up. That with triangles, your longest side's always going to be opposite the biggest angle. The bigger the angle gets, the bigger the sides get, which is why when you're doing Pythagoras, you know that the side opposite the right angle, the hypotenuse, you know it's the longest side because nothing can be bigger than 90 degrees in a right angle triangle. So that's 103, we know that must be the biggest side, but that's just some little extra info there. And then we're going to have x down here in this corner for this angle, and we're going to have 13.8. Again, didn't give myself enough room. 13.8 centimeters on this side. And then we're asked to find x. So this is a little bit different. You'll see what happens when we try to solve this and how we go about doing this. But again, check out the angle and its corresponding side opposite it. Sine rule almost guaranteed to work in some way in this question. Okay, so let's label our triangle up, and then we'll look at what we can find from this. So capital A is the angle, so opposite that capital A angle is little a. Opposite our capital B angle, which is over here, is little b. And then opposite our capital C angle, we have this side here. Okay, now this one's a little bit different because although we're looking for angle x, we don't have the length opposite that. So there's no way we can calculate this directly because they're both unknown. But we can use A and sine A, these two together, because we've got both of them. And we can use the little c here. And that means we should be able to find the angle big C. So let's write our formula down for those two sides. So we've got A and little a. So we're definitely going to be using sine A over A again. Sine A over A because we're looking at angles and it's better in that form for angles. So sine A over A. But the length we've got is little c. So the only angle we can find is big C. Okay, and that's not x, but it might help us to find x. And in fact, if we find C, we find this angle, we can use something really simple, angle sum of a triangle, to help us find x. Okay, but because we don't know what C is, we're going to label C. I'm going to call this angle y. I don't want to call it x really because we've already got an x, and that would suggest they're the same. So if we call it y, then we can still use it, and it's something different. So we'll call that y, and we'll leave that in there. So because we're using C, we'll put sine C. Oops, sorry, it should be in black. We'll put C. Still getting it wrong. Sine capital C, sine C over C in there. Everything's labelled nicely, so now we can sub in and find out our unknown in this. So sine A is sine of the angle, so sine of 103 over little a, which is labelled for us, which is 15.7, equals sine C, so sine, and we've called that y, so sine y, so we sub that in, over little c, which is on the left, which is 13.8. So yeah, we're not finding x, but we know if we use what we've got here, we can find out that other angle, and then that will have a knock-on effect, and we'll be able to find the other angle from that as well. So although we can't calculate it directly, we can still do this question. Again, multiply up by 13.8, we want to get the sine y on its own. So we want to multiply by the bottom, multiply both sides by 13.8. So on the right, that will just cancel the bottom and leave us with sine y. And on the left, because we're multiplying, is going to go up onto the top. We always write it before the function, before sine, and the 15.7 is just going to sit there for now. To find y, I inverse sine both sides. I'm also just going to write the y on the left to make it the subject, just to neaten things up. So inverse sine, sine minus 1 both sides. So I'm taking sine minus 1 of all this. Which will give me a value for the angle y. So I'll stick that in my calculator. 13.8 sine 103 divided 15.7, 0.8ish, and then inverse sine that, and we get 58.92. Now, this isn't my final answer because I'm asked for x, not for y, so I don't need to round this answer. Remember, if I round this and then use it, I might get rounding errors, so I've got to use the full value. So either store it in your calculator, you can store it as a if you want. If you need help storing as a, just ask, and I can do a video on storing things on your calculator. So 58.92, and then I can use angle sum of a triangle, so I can do 180 minus, if there's a crazy noise then just ignore it. So I can do 180 minus the other two angles, so I've now got y, I've now got this angle here. This angle is in here, isn't it? So that's 58.92. So hopefully I can use that, well, not hopefully, I can use that now to find x. So just to finish, I can say, therefore, on this side, x equals 180 minus the other two angles. So minus 103 minus 58.92. Well, you could write a here if you wanted to, because that's what you saved it as. So if we stick that in using the exact value, not any rounded values, so 180 minus ants minus 103, we get 18.07, etc., etc., which is 18.1 degree to 1 decimal place. So you can't necessarily always find things directly, but use the information you've got, see what you can find with that, and then that might help you with the next part of the question. Thanks for watching these sine rule videos. I hope they've helped. Leave comments on any of the videos that you like. If you need any help or anything you want me to highlight or go through again, then just let me know. Thank you for listening. See ya.